So the federal government subsidizes some loans to college students, and typically the more students who participate in these programs and the more they borrow, the higher the cost to the federal government. Now, in 2011, President Obama convinced Congress to pass these changes to the federal government loans. The payments were capped at 10% of borrowers' income. Any unpaid balances for people working for government or in the non-profit sector were forgiven after 10 years, and three people working in the private sector had their loans forgiven after 20 years. So, as a result of these changes in the federal student loan program, would you expect that the total amount that students borrowed under these programs increased or decreased, and explain? So, would you expect that the amount borrowed increased or decreased? So, I would say increase. I would say the amount borrowed increased because the terms of repayment have been made more generous. The terms of repayment have been made more generous. So, as a result of the changes in the federal loan programs, the total number of students that borrow should increase, and this is because the changes increase the incentive students have to borrow money under the programs because it limits the amount of the loans that must be repaid. So that's the answer for that question. The next one is, as part of his 2016 federal budget proposal, President Obama recommended significant changes to the federal student loan programs. Giving your answers to part A, do you think President Obama was likely to have recommended changes that would increase or changes that would decrease the payments that borrowers should have to make? And I think the answer is increase the payment that borrowers will have to make. And this is so that the government would be paid back sooner. So it's increase the payments that borrowers will have to make so that the government will be paid back sooner. So that's the answer for that question. Now the last question is, how might President Obama and his advisors have failed to correctly forecast the effect of the 2011 changes to the loan programs? So Obama and his advisors might have failed to correctly forecast the effect of the 2011 changes to the loan programs by underestimating the number of students that will take advantage of the program. So that's how they might have failed, underestimating the number of students who would take part of or that take advantage of the program. So President Obama and his advisors probably realized that the changes in the student loan program will make it more likely that students would borrow more, and then but they estimated the number of students that would take advantage. So in other words, the changes to the programs changed the incentive that students and their families face more than the president and his advisors anticipated. So they underestimated people that will take advantage of the programs.